Okay, in this video we're going to do a water pump replacement. We got a new water pump, which you need to be careful of because with this 2.4 liter Honda Accord engine, there are two different versions of the water pump. From what I understand, there's the American version for a car with that is built in the US, and then there is a different version for a car that is built in Japan. So you need to make sure you have the right one, otherwise the bolts aren't going to line up when you mount it and you're going to be stuck. And then of course you're also going to need to have some coolant. We use the original blue stuff. The order of operations here is you're going to have to first remove the coolant, then remove the belt, the serpentine belt, then you're going to take out the power steering pump, and then remove the belt tensioner. And we have separate videos with instructions on how to do each of those procedures, and you should see a link that you can click on. So now that you've drained your coolant, removed your serpentine belt, remove the power steering pump and the tensioner for the serpentine belt, now we're at the point where we have access to the water pump, and there's 6 bolts that are mounting it to the assembly here. And next we're going to show you how to access them. So you can see here, we're using the new water pump for an example. There's 6 bolts that mount the water pump, and these lower bolts, or at least the very bottom one for sure, are too difficult to access from the top. So because you can't see what you're doing, so we're gonna now jack up the vehicle just on the passenger side, remove the wheel, support the car with the jack stand of course, and there's a plastic liner that's going to need to get removed so that we can get to our lower water pump bolts. Okay, the last thing in the way after you remove the wheel and tire is this plastic cover. There's a clip here and another one tucked in under here going into the frame, and we're just going to pop those out, and we should be able to pull this cover out of the way, and then we'll have our access to the water pump. Okay, the other one's going to be interesting. Can't see what I'm doing. You got a little hook. Let's see. Oh wait, here we go. Yeah, I got it. Okay, it hooks into here. Okay, now I'm going through the pulley to get the lower 3 bolts. There you go. Alright, now the much easier part of getting the upper bolts. So we already got all 3 of the lower ones out. And now you gotta get ready for your coolant to come flowing out. So we got a big pan underneath already set up. There we go. we go. All the bolts are out. No fluids come out. It's not free yet, so we're gonna just pry it out. It's not difficult to pry it off. It shouldn't be anyways. Just using a screwdriver, and that was all it took. Ooh, there it goes. Alright, there's the old water pump. The gasket is on it, so you definitely want to make sure the old gasket material is all off so you can get a proper seal when you put the new one back in. So before you put your new water pump in, of course you need to put your gasket in. Just got to make sure that you get it in there snug, and because you definitely don't want this falling out of place when you're putting the water pump back in, because that will be a disastrous leak. So I just like to press it, go all the way around a few times, make sure, because you don't want it to fall out. That'd be big trouble. Some of the gaskets on aftermarket ones, you might have that problem. You might need to use a touch of super glue or something to hold it in. Just be careful. Alright, so I would say the way to go is definitely going to be to set it into position carefully. Don't knock the gasket out. And then start these upper bolts in first, because, well, they're much easier to get to. The lower bolts are going to be a pain to do next, but as long as we can hold the pump in place with the upper bolts, we should be okay. Alright, we're torquing these water pump bolts to 102 inch-pounds. There we go. Okay, very tight enough. Okay, so we torqued our 6 bolts, and we accessed the 3 upper bolts from the top, and found that it was easier to do the 3 lower bolts from the bottom. And then now that those are all torqued down, we're going to put our plastic splash shield back in down below. It's just held back in with 2 plastic clips, and then we're going to put on our wheel and raise the car, take out the jack stand and lower it back down. Okay, and then to complete this job, of course, we're going to put back our auto tensioner and then our power steering pump, hook up the reservoir and put that back on its bracket here, and then reinstall our serpentine belt, refill our coolant, and then once you have it back together and you're ready to run it, you want to definitely check your coolant level, of course, and the power steering fluid level, because we did lose a little bit of power steering fluid.